everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be replacing and upgrading the motherboard in this PowerBook G4, and we're also going to be installing a new hard drive into it as well. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So the first thing you want to do is turn the computer over. Go ahead and find a coin or similar round object that you can use to remove the battery and set it aside. And then you'll need a small Phillips head screwdriver to remove the memory cover. Take care to not lose the screws as they are very small. Now at this point, if your PowerBook has RAM installed, go ahead and remove it. Since this motherboard is dead, I don't have any RAM in it. It actually suffers from the infamous memory slot problems that these computers had. So after removing the memory, there's some screws we can go ahead and remove on the underside. Go ahead and start with the two screws inside the battery bay in these locations. And go ahead and remove the 4 screws next to the hinge. Next, you need to go ahead and remove the 4 screws on the back of the laptop in these locations. And also go ahead and remove these 2 screws inside of the memory bay. Next, remove the 3 screws on each side of the laptop, located here, here, and here. And do the same on the other side. Once you've done that, go ahead and set the laptop down and open it back up. And there's 2 more screws to remove. There's one here and one here of the keyboard. These are a hex bit and they're quite small. There we go. Once you remove those, you may now gently lift up the keyboard, starting from the back of the laptop, like so. Now take the keyboard and lift it up like this, taking care not to tear the cables inside. Go ahead and unplug the cable for the trackpad and the keyboard itself, and you may now set it aside. So now that we're here, if you have a hard drive present in your machine, you're going to remove it. I do not. So go ahead and begin by unplugging the hard drive cable. Take the hard drive and set it aside. Now you need to begin by unplugging all of the cables from the motherboard. Alright, once you've disconnected all of the cables, you can go ahead and begin removing some screws. So the motherboard is held in by Phillips head screws, and we're going to go ahead and begin removing those. So there's 2 that hold on this speaker. We'll start with those. Unwrap the speaker cable and set it aside. Remove all the other screws you see on the motherboard, taking care to note their size and location. Now you're going to want something like a spudger or a plastic pry tool to remove the motherboard from the laptop. If you've never removed the motherboard from your laptop before, it will be stuck in place by the old thermal paste that's there, and it does require quite a bit of force to remove. I might recommend heating it with something like a hairdryer or heat gun on very low temp in order to remove it more easily. There are also 2 cables underneath the motherboard that you need to be careful of and disconnect. One is located here, and the other is located here. Just gently pry, and it should eventually come. Like so. There we go. Unplug those 2 cables, finagle the motherboard out of the casing. And there you go. You've now removed a motherboard from your PowerBook G4. Now, at this point, you might want to replace the thermal paste if you don't have fresh thermal paste like I do. I'm actually just going to apply a bit more here and here. It's probably a bit too much. I'm also going to replace the 2 fans in here, so let's go ahead and do that. That's why I have this. That's 1. And that should be 2. Yep, that's 2. Alright, we can set that aside now. Alright, there we go. Let's go and install the new motherboard. And go ahead and remember to plug in those 2 cables underneath the motherboard. Alright, so I'm probably just going to cut through most of this since reassembly is really just the opposite of disassembly. This step is quite fiddly. Let's go ahead and start putting screws back in. And hopefully I'll have a better, faster PowerBook. And one that actually works too. And don't forget to plug all of your cables back in as well. They're kind of necessary. Alright, let's go ahead and put some RAM in it and see if it works. Okay. Battery. There's a test point on the motherboard that can be used to power up the laptop without the keyboard, so moment of truth time. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you replace the motherboard in an Apple aluminum 15-inch PowerBook G4. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.